What is happening, everybody? It's TJ here from Dream Diecast Cars, and as you can probably tell if you followed me for a while, the surroundings are a lot different than they usually are, and that is because I am at Bernardo's house, where we will be doing a review of his Porsche 918 Spyder made by Minichamps. Now, just real quick before we start rolling right along into this review, I want to remind you guys to make sure to check out the last couple of videos. One of them is really good. It's me comparing two Ferrari FFs. One of them is Bernardo's Hot Wheels Super Elite versus the regular Hot Wheels Elite. So that's a very good video. Make sure you go check that out. Also, make sure you go over to Facebook and like Dream Diecast Cars, where you can see cool stories about diecast cars, just some updates, and also some behind-the-scenes videos of my collection, which you guys are always asking to see. Alright, now let's get right along into this review.
Now, as usual, we'll start at the front of the diecast car and move straight to the headlights. Now, I want to inform you that some of the details on this car might not be realistic to the production version that's coming soon. So, things might change and maybe a new model will come out soon. So, we'll just go straight ahead to the headlights. So, we obviously have this bulb right here, which probably represents the xenon headlights, which has two circles here and a long slit. And then it's covered by a black background with some probably a blinker light and covered in plastic.
When you look in the middle of this diecast car, you will see the Porsche logo, and it is replicated as just a sticker. However, it's done very nicely. You can see all the small details. It looks just like the one on the real car. Then look a bit lower, and you can see some grills, which are kind of nice. They don't go through all the way, but they do look very realistic. Then when you look even lower, you can see this beautiful looking carbon fiber replica. It's just paint, but it looks just perfect to what real carbon fiber looks like. Then look below the carbon fiber and you can see this very nicely replicated towing hook.
Now let's move along to the side of the car, and we'll start with the wheels. Now the disc brakes do go through the calipers, and the calipers are lime green with the Porsche logo written on the side, which is really good detail. In the center, you got the Porsche bolt, just a single bolt, with the logo in, and then the spokes around it. Now, the door handle on the car is represented by a lighter shade of gray, and then just above that, you have a charging port for the electric part of the engine, and then on the other side, the fuel filler cap.
Then, unlike most cars, the 918 has its exhaust on the side of the car. And on this diecast, you will notice that they are replicated very nicely. They're made out of real metal, and with the lighting, it kind of looks unrealistic, but without such bright light being shined on it, they look very realistic because you can't see that black backing, so it looks like it's a pipe that continues down the car, which looks very realistic. Then when you look on the back of this diecast car, one of the first things that you'll notice is the lights, which are pretty realistic. They don't have a ton of detailing in them, but I think that that's realistic to the real car. It doesn't really have a ton of little lights in it like some other cars do. And then when you look in the middle of the back of this diecast car, you will see the 918 Spyder logo, which is done with a metally color and a lime green little ring outline around the outside, which looks very nice and very realistic.
Now, on the back of this model is a carbon fiber diffuser, which runs all the way to the bottom, which is really realistic. Now, the intake in the back is represented by plastic air vents, which is unrealistic, but when without the light, it's hardly noticeable. And then up above, there's a spoiler, which features little slits for the air to go through, and it's really realistic. Now, in the back of the car are some slits that provide air to the engine, which are represented by black paint.
So now is usually the point of the show where we would go talk about the trunk and the engine. However, on this model car, it does not have an opening trunk or an opening engine. And I know some of you guys are probably going to say, oh, well, that kind of sucks, that's pretty ridiculous. But you have to remember that this is still a concept car. So even though, at least right now they have most of the engine planned out, first of all, this model was released a long time ago. And second of all, it's not all perfect yet, so they cannot really model an engine or a trunk, which I think the electric part's actually going in there, so this car might not actually have a trunk. I'm not 100% sure, but that's what I think. And so yeah, you have to remember that. Now it's time to move right along into this interior, and one of the things that you'll notice when you open up the door is the really futuristic side mirrors, which look really cool. They're actually cameras, because this is a concept car. I doubt that that'll be on the real car, but they're on the model. Then when you're looking at the interior, you will notice that the steering wheel is incredibly detailed. All the little spokes of the steering wheel look perfect, and you can see the little starter button, then 3 other buttons along the side. Just looks very realistic.
Now on the 918 Spyder's model, Minichamps replicated a carbon fiber monocoque perfectly with the carbon fiber print running along here and on the doors, as you can see above right here. Now the seats on this model are black with a lime green outer edge, and then right here is his 918 Spyder.
When you look down low at the carpeting, you can see that this model once again holds true with the 918 color schemes of black and that lime green color. The main part of the carpeting is black and has some lime green grooves that go right through the middle. Then when you look at the center console, it looks okay. The screen looks pretty good. You can see like this little screen up there. It's all just one sticker. However, I really hate the dials in the middle because they look really cheesy as a sticker.
Now if you look further down on the dash on this car, you can see that there's a race circuit being displayed in the back, which could be a navigation system or just a feature for a race day. And then you got the dials here, which show the speed, the gas tank, and you also got your air vents right here on the side. Now if you spin the model and you look at it from the back, you can see that the dials kind of look like bolts with those like grooves, and then also that the car has an open gash where the dashboard opens and you can see through to the pedals, which is a really nice touch.
Then when you look down low at the pedals, you can see that there is a little bit of detailing. However, for the most part, it kind of looks cheap as it is made out of like kind of a cheaper looking plastic, but it's not really that big of a deal because the pedals are pretty hidden.
Moving on to the door, you can see that the carbon fiber starts here and then runs down to the bottom, and also that the color scheme of the lime and the black continues, and you got the chrome door handle here and then down here too.
Alright guys, so now it's time to wrap up this show, and we're going to end it by giving our grades. Bernardo, what do you think?
Well, I say that it's a B+ without the price and then a B with the price.
Yeah, I think I'd agree, and I think one of the main things is that you have to remember it's a concept car, so I think from the outside the car really looks stunning. And you can find this car for $150, and I just don't think it's such a great value because some of the smaller details, you don't get an engine, you don't get a trunk, some of the smaller details on the inside aren't amazing. And I really can't blame Minichamps for this though, because it's a concept, so not all the stuff, and especially when this came out, I have to stress again that this model car was, you bought it like a year ago, didn't you?
Yeah.
So the Porsche 918 was barely a nugget of an idea.
It was just like released out of it.
It was a pretty new thing. So for that, it's a very good car, but I think all around, since you don't get some of those details, we have to give it a B+ without the price and a B with the price.
And then for the price, it all depends on where you buy from. Because you can get it for cheap to very
we found
expensive.
some from $100 and we found some for like $210.
Yeah, and then there also comes with another color, which is matte black, which could be cool.
Yeah, I think it looks cool. I haven't seen it in person either, but I think it looks pretty cool. So thank you guys for watching this episode, and I hope to see you around soon. That was a terrible ending. I'm putting this video out on Friday, so tune in on Monday for the next episode. Goodbye, everyone.